organizing with World Language Academy. World Language Academy is an online website where people can learn English. We facilitate it, and we also promote these free webinars for developing academic purposes. Now, today, we welcome to our new audience. We have students and we have teachers from different part of the world that they are connecting and they are following us. And I think that this contribution is also because of you, because you are here, you are a part of our audience, and you are the reason that we continue and keep working so hard. Today we have the artificial intelligence. We have already presented the topic. Mr. Luis Bermudez, it's a privilege for me to introduce you. You are a very good professional. You have written some books. You have presented in other conferences as well. And we are so glad that you accepted to be here. Welcome, Mr. Luis Bermudez. I'm so sorry, Mr. Luis, you are muted.
Sorry. Thank you for that, for those nice words, Andres. I'm going to begin right now. Okay, is that okay?
It's okay, Mr. Luis. Let me allow you to share. Yes, you can share right now.
Okay. So we are going to be talking about the impact of artificial intelligence on education. Feel free to interrupt me during, it's not going to be a long talk, it's not going to be extensive, but there are points where I will be explaining things. So if you have a question and you want that question to be answered like already, I have no problem with that, okay? Let me see. Just a moment. All right, sorry. Let's see the outline, first of all. Let's start with, I'm going to start with an introduction. Then I'm going to explain briefly what artificial intelligence is all about. Artificial intelligence in education today. I will address the benefits of artificial intelligence in our field. It's not that I'm going to be talking about education in general. Most of the time I will be entering into TEFL, which is what, if not all of us, most of us are in. Then I'll be talking about challenges and concerns, which there are many, but I will only address the most important. If you have another that you want me to mention and you want to discuss here, not a problem, okay? And finally, the future of artificial intelligence in education. What is it? What is coming? What is next? What can we expect? Okay. Well. All right. Let us begin with the introduction. Listen, whenever we say AI, that is artificial intelligence. AI. I heard that people in Spanish are also referring to artificial intelligence as IA, which is kind of funny, but it's what it is. I mean, it's the future. We're going to be talking about IAs. It's going to be part of our conversations in the future. So when we say, we're not going to be saying all the time artificial intelligence, we are going to say IA. People are already using AI, the term AI in English a lot. Okay. So what is that? It is the simulation of human intelligence in machines. Okay, it may look like it is thinking. It may look like it is reasoning, and the reality is that it's all make believe. It's only a machine. If it will react just because it was programmed to react in a after a fashion. Right. So, for example, if you insulted, it will respond to you politely. It doesn't have any feelings. It doesn't have any feelings. It just responds in as I said, after a fashion because it was programmed that way. But it's all a simulation. It's all a simulation. Now, of course, one thing about it is that somehow this is the part where we get technological and stuff. It learns, and it can improve itself to a certain extent. Now, how far in that extent it can go, we still have to see that. I suppose because there is not only one artificial intelligence, there are several services. I suppose that the creators have set limits to this, and you know, it can get out of control easily. All right. But so far, nothing of like that has happened. But whoever has already used AI, that is an amazing thing, really. Okay, so another thing about artificial intelligence is not a new concept. It's not something that is really that is entirely new, so to speak. I think that it all began, all the buzz began with ChatGPT, with the coming of ChatGPT, which is actually not the first version because it is ChatGPT 3, the one that is being currently used. And there is also ChatGPT 4, which you have to pay for using. Where that the meaning of that message is that ChatGPT 1 and ChatGPT already existed, but people were not paying attention. For some reason, something happened with ChatGPT 3. That was in November 2022. People started paying attention, probably because it was an improved version and it was already quite amazing. Okay, as I said, artificial intelligence has been with us, has been in our computers. There have been manifestation of artificial intelligence forms, basic of AI. It's only that we haven't been really paying attention. We haven't noticed it. We just take these things for granted, like it's a normal thing. It's a thing of technology that we can expect. Blah 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 blah. So that is why. I mean, AI has been with us already, and in this talk I will prove it to you. It has become relevant as of recent. We have ChatGPT, but there is also Bing. There is also Lucia, which I'm gonna say in a moment what that is for those who don't know. There is Claude, but that service is only available in the United States and the UK. It's not available in Latin America. Okay. So the question is, the first question that we should ask, what does this mean for education or for TEFL by extension? What is the meaning of all these? Can we use it? Can we use it as educator? Can it help us? I mean, if we're a student, learn, and as teachers, can we teach faster and more efficiently? Those are the questions that people are asking. That's why there are so many. This is not the only talk. There are many talks out there. I mean, asking questions and such as Cambridge, such as Oxford, and others are trying to respond for as efficiently as they can. But there is still a long road ahead of us in terms of what we're with this once it is really inserted in the educational field. In some countries, it's already been used. Some countries are ahead of us. Some countries are already experiencing with, I said, it's experiencing because it's still new. This technology at its infancy, but there are already countries that are trying to implement artificial intelligence. Okay. As I said, if you feel like asking questions, I have no problem with that. This is only the introduction. Okay. What can artificial intelligence for us? Remember, I'm a teacher and I'm talking to other teachers, so to our practice. So yeah, it can already do a lot of things. It can perform several things. And its use is limitless. It's only limited for several by some aspects, some circumstances. The first one being the availability. artificial intelligence is not available to everyone, and that is a sad reality. We need to implement things. For example, we need internet connection. We need computers or laptops or it's at least cell phones. We need that. If we don't have it, if we are a community that doesn't have access to any of these things, then there is a great divide already, okay, between those who do have access to these things and those who don't. Okay? So that is the first thing, the first limitation. Another limitation is our own knowledge of this capacity, of the capacities that these services have. Um, so we need to learn about them. If we can do and we start using them just like that, empirically, without any guide, of course we can obtain results, but those results themselves are limited because we need a handbook in other words, and of course those instructions exist, and there are already programs that have been created and are being created about the use of artificial in education and also in TEFL, which is interesting. So it is opening new possibilities for those who want to study. They not only do can they study about this and that, they also can study about TEFL and the use of artificial intelligence in TEFL or in education. Also, it is about how well in general we adapt to changes. The bad thing about changes is that they happen fast. And for example, I mean, at the beginning of all this, it was only ChatGPT. But I can tell you there are many of these AIs out there, and some of them do this, some of them do these other things. There are others that do the same things that the other do. Okay, it's amazing. There are already a number of these AIs out there, and the only thing that we can do is to see which one is the one we need, because we don't need them all. We don't need them all. Only those who really can improve our teaching practice, sorry, those. And another limitation is our resourcefulness as educators, which is one of the reasons why we cannot really be replaced by AI at the moment, because there are things that only teachers can do. There are things that only human beings can do, and because of that, we cannot be replaced by AI, but we can use it. So if we are creative, if we think really hard about using AI for, I mean, our own purposes, which is teaching English, well, so that is a factor to consider. Okay, if we are not creative, if we just not put our heart into these things, then we will not obtain very much out of artificial. No matter how advanced it is, it just won't work that way. We need to be resourceful. We need to be creative. We need to be imaginative. We need to see the possibilities ourselves before using it into our class, which is a possibility. All right. One thing that we have to keep in mind is that artificial intelligence is not new. It existed in the past, and there was this learning. That's what they call it in the past. Machine learning, and it was also used in education. It's a simpler form of AI that has already been in use for a number of years already. It was at your disposal in your computers, in your laptops, and if you were not using them, as I said, that was something that you could have used and you were not using. Let me prove it to you. Okay, first of all, what is machine learning? Okay, as it is said here, is a subfield. It's not really artificial intelligence, but it's part of that. And it is also based on the computer's capacity for learning, and imitate human behavior in this case, okay? Like what we already had was facial recognition and voice recognition. So that was not really AI, it was machine learning. And there was, for example, dictation, the dictation feature in Word. Did you use it? Did you use it for your class? Did you use dictation in Word? Let me see if I can explain. Just it's a little digression, I know, but let me see if I can help. If I can show you. Let me stop sharing here and look for. Okay, here it is. Please let me know if you cannot see what I'm saying. This is a Word document, and this is something that you could have used, and you can still use in your class. This is a blank Word document. Okay, what can we do with this? Well, there is this dictate feature in Word. I am activating it now, all right? So the thing of this is, for example, if you dictate to it, it will write it down, all right? I'm gonna do that right now. Of course, in the configuration, you have to do this with the English language. Whether if you prefer British English or American English, that is up to you. But you have to configure English in the system for this happen. Okay, so I'm going to dictate. We have a long way to go. Just a moment. We have a long way to go. Period. Okay, as you can see, it also recognizes punctuation marks. Huh? I said period, and that's what it did. It set a period at the end of the sentence. Let me continue. We don't know how far we are going. Comma. All right, the comma. The comma is there. In fact, it's going to be writing whatever I said now at the moment. It doesn't really matter if you do it quickly or you do it slowly. The one thing that you have to be concerned about is if you're pronouncing this correctly or not. Now, how do you use it with your students? Okay, it is really very simple. Let me show you. Let's go back to the presentation. Just a moment. It doesn't really want to work. Just okay, there you go. So here is this example of how you could use, or you could have used machine learning in template dictation. Now that you use a dictation is something so simple. What is the purpose? Okay, the idea is as the students can do the same I did and dictate words in this blank Word document, whatever, right? But before that, you provided your students with a list of words for them to practice at home. And why should we do this? The idea is that students are usually shy. Some of them are shy. And if you tell them to repeat words or to repeat this to check if their pronunciation is okay or not, they are afraid of correction. They are afraid of correction. And they don't want to go through that they might consider public humiliation, that you correct them in front of everybody. They can do this at home. You can ask them to record themselves doing this activity at home. And another thing, the machine is not going to criticize them. There is not a face. Sometimes it's impossible that you make a face when they make a mistake, right? But the computer doesn't do that. It's just a machine, all right? So it doesn't judge. Students may feel more confident, and that is important, that they feel more confident and they become confident about their English, because this practice might be meaningful to them. It's meaningful practice, and more importantly, they may gain confidence with this. Now, this is something that we could have done with, and you still can do if you have Word and then and you want to do something like that. Of course you can do it. It's an idea, but it's not really artificial intelligence. It's only machine learning. I'm going to give you other examples of what other things you can do with ChatGPT, for example, and BART, which is the service that Google provides. All right, let us continue. Pretty clear, of course. If there is something that you want me to repeat, I have no problem. Okay, let me know if the activity was clear or not. You and if you have already used it, I would like to know and to let me and to share with us, with the rest of us, what happened in your class, if you want to. Okay. All right. Let's go to point number 2, which is AI in education today. Okay. So what is happening? What is happening already? First of all, there are countries, as I said before. China, for example, is already doing it. They are already using artificial intelligence for not only in class. They are doing it for other things, of course, but we care about education, right? First of all, the first thing that is happening is personalized learning. Now, this is an ideal in every class, because even when we have 25 students, 20 students, what anybody is happy when you only have that amount of students, because you can work much better that way. It's difficult to create or to deliver personalized learning, because that means in some cases to focus on only one person at a time and pretty much ignore the rest. Of course, if you know how to do things, that it doesn't have to happen exactly like that, but you still, if you want to do personalized learning, the best thing to do is to have to teach remotely and to have, or to offer private lessons, right? Well, with artificial intelligence, that situation can be easily solved, because if everybody has, for example, a laptop, they can work themselves with that, and the information that they provide, the pace, their personal pace at work, how fast they are at learning this or these grammar features, or that they are slow at understanding this, or maybe they have all of this is being stored somewhere, and the AI analyzes this data and process this information to create solutions to work on the weak points of every student. It's personalized teaching, and obviously then we could say that it's personalized learning. Another thing is adaptive assessment, which is again, not only the AI can make recommendations on what to do, it can also assess their progress. You know, so you as a teacher, you can have a much better and deeper understanding of what is happening with each one of your students. Okay, and sometimes scores, grades in general, do not really tell you what is happening with this or that student. And of course, there are other factors that intervene, but in general, we're talking about the knowledge that they internalize, not the knowledge they memorize, the knowledge they internalize. Virtual tutoring, chatbots can answer common questions. Any question that you can ask, that you can come up with, they usually have an answer. The only problem with this is that the information they have is not something that is not that they have their own bank of information. What they do is that they use external sources, which is in all, which might be a problem. If the external sources are not good, then the information that the chatbot provides will not be good either. But that's what they do. So, and they do it instantly. I mean, it doesn't. It's not that. So, sometimes you see the like the chatbot is thinking. There is an icon or some sort of figure which supposedly represents that the chatbot is taking a sample. I can tell you that for what I have read, really this operation can happen, and It has already happened instantly, but chatbots are trained to react as a person. And before we provide an answer already there, and then it provides the answer. Okay, but most questions that our students have about this or that topic, AI can provide easily. They can even offer emotional support, which is sometimes, I mean, we're busy and we say, all right, okay, what is the problem you have? Blah, 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 blah. And or we are not really trained to provide emotional support because we are what we're supposed to is supposed to be part of our training, I know, but not to a great extent. But apparently some people have I mean, have it easy to tell their feelings to a machine than to another person. Faculty development. So yes, training is administered to work on each teacher's weak points after an observation of your class or whatever. There are weak points that have been observed. Then the AI makes recommendations on the kind of training this or that specific teacher should receive, and that's what happens. Okay. So wow, and this is already happening. I mean, as I said, in China, which is uh, one of the largest countries in the world, the one with the largest population, if I'm not mistaken, they're already doing that. Are we going to do that in Ecuador? We don't know. I mean, I know that most of us here have already now used AI or machine learning, but is it going to be part of the educational system? Is it going to be a real improvement? Because if it's not correctly implemented, then probably it's going to be another drawback and not a benefit to us. All right. So remember, personalized learning, adaptive assessment, virtual tutoring, faculty development. There are other areas, of course, that AI is helping with already, but these are the most important or the ones that have getting the most attention. Okay. All right. Benefits. Let's talk about the benefits of AI in education, or the advantages, if you want to put it that way. The first thing is that AI, it never tires. It never tires. It never gets tired. It always, I mean, it's always at the same level. It only needs electricity. That's what you need. That the battery of your computer is full of energy, so you can have a session and internet connection, of course. But AI never gets tired. It never does. And it can remember previous conversations. Right? We will see that in a moment. And it's always polite. It doesn't matter how upset you are, how angry you are. I mean, it's always polite to you. It always responds very politely, very kindly. Okay. AI can help with the administrative aspect of education. Yes, like grading and stuff. They can do that. In research, all these calculations like standard deviation, the range, the mean, all those calculations, they can be made using, for example, ChatGPT. You only tell them the values. You insert the values. Then, okay, I need you to calculate the standard deviation of this. I need you to calculate the mean. I need you to calculate the range, and this or whatever other thing that you needed to calculate, and it will do it. You want it in the form of a chart, it will do it. All right. It's like having an assistant, a very handy assistant. AI is visually appealing. Our students, especially those who were born in this at the beginning of this millennium, most of them are, I mean, are very visual because they have grown with all these visual stimulus. And they are going to learn, they're going to be more receptive to using AI than anything else. Okay. AI can adapt to different constraints also. Okay. So if, for example, you have an emotional problem, that might be affecting your teaching practice, but AI doesn't have that problem. If you are afraid that something might happen, I don't know, that, I mean, artificial intelligence doesn't have that problem. Recently, you lost a loved one. That doesn't happen with AI. Is this an advantage? I leave that to you, but some people would say that yes, yes. Okay. AI can access the latest information. True. As I told you, it's not that each of these services has a bank of their own. No. What they do is they access the information that is on the internet, that is there, that is out there. They go, it's like what you would do or what any other browser would do, only that faster and more efficient. Just that. All right. AI makes designing and creating an easy task. Yes. Sometimes, especially for those of our students who are like, they are the artist type of students, this is wonderful. Let me show you. There you are. Okay, this is me, the picture that it was in the invitation that Andres provided. Three different versions of me, three different Luis Bermudez from different realities. In one of them, I'm already wearing glasses, which I should, and another one, I'm already very much old, or I am one of these characters from Game of Thrones. And then in another one, it's like Picasso is God, and he created everybody to look like the way he envisioned things. So what is the message here? Okay. When you have these students who are like, they like creating things because they are natural creators, you can have them, how do you connect this with TEFL? Well, you can have them create stories about characters they envision and that they have a certain service to do this. For example, one of those services, let me show you, is Bing. Just a moment. Okay, where do I have it? I think I have it right here. All right, no, this is not yet. It's for later on. I'm sorry. Let me see where I have it. Okay. So many of these things are open. Okay. Well, no, I don't have it right. Just a moment, please. Oh, okay. I understand what's happening. I was looking at the wrong place. Yes, there you go. Okay, I'm going to share with you now. That is in the right thing. Okay, this is Bing. Bing is another example of AI. In the past, it was only a chatbot, but now it can create anything that you want. Let's imagine that you are a reading and writing teacher, and okay, there are not many illustrations in your book, in the book that you're using, whether it's an abridged version or unabridged version, whatever. And then one thing that you tell your students is, okay, create your own illustrations of the story. Why is this positive? Because you will see the vision they have, because they need to instruct the computer with, they need to tell them what they can see in their mind. So let's imagine that you are, I don't know, maybe they are reading Moby Dick, the story of Moby Dick. So you know, the story is white whale, So you tell that to the. I'm sorry, was not correctly done. A wild whale, white whale. Okay, there you go. There you are. Well, for example, this whale that it created, it looks pretty much like a dolphin. Let's make it a little bit different. A menacing looking. All right. So it's creating at the moment. Let me see if it can really create a menacing looking. Okay. Now that is a menacing looking. It looks like a shark, right? Of course, these services are not entirely perfect, but one thing that you can see is if your students have the necessary vocabulary to give the instructions, the necessary instructions to this service. Okay. And again, if your book doesn't have any illustrations, tell them to create their own illustrations. So they will need to go and to instruct the computer correctly, the AI correctly to obtain the desired result. Is this positive? Of course, because it's a real use of their English. It's not like homework. Homework really is something that, I mean, they need to use English. When you create the necessity to use English, that is a wonderful thing, right? It's not something that you impose. It's something that you, okay, tell them, but in order to comply, they will need to use English. You just tell them. But what they do after that point is their own choice, right? It's their own decision. Okay. So this is in Microsoft Bing. I don't know if you can see it is an image generator, and it's available to you, to everyone, and it's for free. That's the most important. It's for free. You don't need to pay. In fact, the presentation that you are seeing at the moment, my presentation, this is also in part created by artificial intelligence. There is a service called Tome. I don't know if you can see it. Please let me know if I'm gonna write it on the chat so everybody can see it. The name is Tome. Just a moment. All right. And he helped me creating this presentation. Of course, the content, the images is something that the machine chooses, and are they accurate? That is up to you. You want to go for what the machine suggests or the service suggests is your decision. But for example, myself, I made a lot of changes anyways. I only used it as a template, but because the contents were not the contents that I really wanted to go for, and it was not exactly the structure that I wanted. So anyways, I made changes, but it saved me with the time. I mean, it saved me time in terms that I didn't have to look for the right template and stuff like that. Most of that was already there. Okay. Questions? No? Let me continue then. All right, just a moment. Go back to full screen. Okay. Challenges and concerns. Okay, the first one is that our identities may be more than our identities, our students' identities. Oops, yes. And remember that those students, they are, I mean, they are our responsibility. Whatever happened to them, we will have to respond. So every time that we services, we have to keep that in mind that they could probably use some of the information. I mean, there are people out there that are much more knowledgeable about technology than we are. They are having cases, very few already, sorry, but they're having cases. So we have to be very careful with this. What most schools are doing is that they are already taking precautions. So if they're going to use these services, there are already protocols that you have to follow. Okay. AI can deliver wrong information. Of course, I already said that. It really, I mean, all these services depend on the information that is there on the internet. If that information is biased, then the results that you're obtain are going to be biased, inaccurate, incomplete. Not your fault, not the fault of of this use, but it's something that might happen. Okay. In my own experience, I can tell you that you cannot really entirely rely on this because sometimes they invent information, unbelievable. So when they want to provide information. It's not that they want; they are trained to provide the information, the necessary information, the one that is required. And when they cannot do it, yeah, amazing, that is true. It's something that you will have to try yourself. You will see yourself if you do it, especially those who are into research. My suggestion is use it as an assistant, but do not entirely rely on that. Okay, for certain searches, yes, and there is one that is much better than the others, which is also again Bing. We will see that in a moment. Third challenge or concern is that it is possible that teachers or English teachers in general get replaced by the AI. Who said this? Other than Bill Gates. Bill Gates has already announced or claimed that we are going to be replaced by some AI in the future, which is a possibility. Let me show you one thing. Let me show you one thing. This is from a different presentation. Let me see here. Yes, I do have it. Okay. Again, if you cannot see, I'm already in a different presentation. This is presentation. Okay. And listen.
Following activities in an EFL reading and writing class give you a chance to check comprehension, review important information, and extend your reading. They can include a range of short activities designed around and relevant to adult learners of English.
Okay, Mr. Anson is not for real. It's a person that I created using the services of Movio.la, whatever. I mean, I think that's the name. And a person lent his image to be used as a template, and you can give it the name that you want, and these words that he said were words I provided myself. So it's not that he chose to say. I mean, let me show you one more.
Follow-up activities.
Now, let me see if I can.
Hello.
Yes, okay. All right, here's another one. Again, this is another person who doesn't really exist. It's only an image that was lent to this other service. It's not the same service as before. And listen to her, okay?
Hello, my name is Cora. Here are some ideas you can use as follow-up activities in a writing class, in no particular order. You can tell your students to storyboard the story. They can also chat with their favorite character or characters in the story or create profiles of their favorite characters. They can make heart and mind charts to analyze the characters' motivations, and since this is the 21st century, they can create a TikTok video recreating one section of the story, the one they liked better. And my favorite, writing letters to the author. That's a nice one. Don't worry. Luis will explain them all, so if you have any questions, ask him. I have other matters to attend to. Enjoy this presentation and have a nice day.
But of course, she's not for real. She doesn't exist. She doesn't exist. Again, it's only a template that I mean, those words that she said, those are words that I created myself. Okay. Well, let us continue. And finally, and this is the biggest problem in my opinion, AI depends on electricity. AI depends on electricity. If there is no electricity to internet, without internet access, we don't have any AI service. If at the moment, this is a big problem, really, because that only proves that as strong as it is, there is a definitive flaw, and it's a right. Of course, the problem, we cannot really guarantee to have unlimited access to power, unlimited access to electricity. At some point, it will fail. What do we do then? Okay, so of course you will say it's a temporary thing. We fix it. And then that is all. And what? Yeah, probably. Okay. What is the future of AI in education? This is my last point, all right? First of all, AI will go where no one has gone before, really, because there are places or communities which we cannot reach unless we go and live there. What if we don't? I mean, there are many people who don't want that. That is not a possibility for them, and that means that there are a selected number, professionals that would accept to travel a big distance to in this school where there are not many teachers, and he's going to be the teacher for all level, and she's going to be teaching everything, blah 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 blah. But that doesn't necessarily have to be like that. I mean, we can create avatar teachers, all right? And it's already happening. Some companies, that's what they want to do. They want to create avatar teachers. There is at this moment a strike in California, in Hollywood to be more specific, of writers and actors because the filming companies, what they want to do is that they want to create avatars. They want to create a fictional actors, I mean, but of course they need their permission for that. But they want to pay a very low amount of money for something that they will be using forever and ever, which is obviously not fair. Right? So, and not only actors are going to be replaced, they're not going to receive any money for every time that these companies use their images. It is unfair. Okay, so that is the reason of this strike. Can that be applied to our field? Yes, of course. I mean, these things about these two teachers who are not for real, these two people who are not for real, it only needs to be improved, and that's it. They can have avatar teachers and teach English remotely. Maybe when our students will be in front of somebody who doesn't really exist, but looks like if he were existing. There is also curriculum development. It will suffer an upgrade. That is a good thing, because for those who have been curriculum developers, you know that there is a lot of research to be done before we go into the design of curriculum. Well, it will be so much faster thanks to AI. Also, artificial intelligence will improve the recruitment process. What is the bad or the dark side of recruitment processes is that sometimes there is a lot of subjectivity, not to call it differently, but AIs don't feel anything. If they find that you are the best candidate for the job, they will choose you, they will select you. A good thing. AI will enhance augmented reality. That is, augmented reality is already with us now, but it's still sketchy, to say the least. But with with the help of artificial intelligence, that is going to be a different thing. What is AR? AR is precisely that when you are not, for example, in a place, but you in front of you, your eyes see the images of somewhere different. And with the proper environment changes, the experience would be like you are there. And this is called augmented reality. It has been already used with games, for example. There was one Pokemon game, if I'm not mistaken, that was very much popular just 2 or 3 years ago. That is an example of augmented reality. Augmented reality can be implemented in education. We could teach culture because our students could be using these visors that you can see in the image. It's like they were, let's say, in New York, in a nice part of New York, and in real time, and they are walking around, of course, under our supervision, and they're walking around, seeing the places, probably even interacting with people there. We don't know. I mean, it really depends on technology. We could use it to teach vocabulary also. Maybe they are visiting a house, and every time that they approach one environment or one piece of furniture in the house, the name of that object appears. Wonderful. And we could use it also to provide feedback. Okay, so the students, for example, they can record themselves, and then the tutor, the virtual tutor, one virtual tutor in front of them can give them feedback. There are many possibilities. These are only some, but there are more. Again, resourcefulness of how, I mean, if there are the necessary tools to implement this kind of environment, because it needs a lot, especially a lot of money. The results should be great, but to the best of my knowledge, not everybody is doing it because, as I said, it's costly. But and if we do not only focus on teaching grammar and vocabulary and stuff like that, if we want our students to really feel like really be immersed in the culture, that is a wonderful thing. Of course, nothing can really replace reality, but it's the closest that we can have without paying for expensive air tickets. Okay. Well, so what can we do? And this is, with this I finish, I promise. What can we do as TEFL teachers to prepare ourselves for the future? First of all, we need to keep an open mind. Teachers are supposed to be open-minded. Let's behave that way. Let's be open-minded to these things, okay? Changes, one other thing about changes is not only that they happen fast, they also cause a lot of anxiety. So if you're not ready to change, that is a bad thing. We need to be, for that, we need to be open-minded. We should be curious, always, all of the time. The world changes fast. Curiosity is our best companion into this amazing trip that is the future. We need to be curious. We need to have curiosity. We need to want to learn new things. We have to avoid fossilization. Where are fossils? In museums or buried somewhere, still unearthed. And they are not changing because they are just that. They are fossils. They are pieces of bone that now are stones. And they are not changing. We should avoid fossilization. And if possible, we should diversify our skills, right? There are many areas that connect with teaching. One of them, technology, of course. And if we can diversify our skills, not only be English teachers and go into areas that we can then use to improve our practice, let's go for it, okay? Well, thank you very much for your attention. There are questions about some of the platforms that I mentioned. Let me know, and if there is time, if Andres has no problem with that, I will be glad to show you.
Yes, thank you for your very insight presentation, Luis. I think that there are many things that, well, the future is now. We're in the future, and many things are coming, and they're going to stay right now. So, dear colleagues and students, this is the time for participating. I can read your comments, or you rather raise your hand here. Could be great. All right. So let's go. Somebody else would like to say something about it? Okay, Luis, they are congratulating you from Peru. Okay, the webinar was very interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Lucelda. All right. Something that okay, Luis, we have somebody who's raising the hand is Daniela Chambers. Okay. Daniela,
I always thought that intelligence artificial it can help us, but doesn't write how a student writes. Probably it's how more how we ask Siri and use write and speak to this weird way. They help, but we have to take care of when we use. I guess.
Uh, but what is your question exactly, Daniela? Can you perhaps write it in the chat?
My question is how we can how we can make so well. For example, if know the way to avoid a homework, just can make good use.
Okay. How we can use this to avoid homework? That's what you're saying.
La diré en español. Por ejemplo, ¿cómo se?
No, it's okay. We're not using Spanish, we're English teachers. All right. Listen, in general, homework is going to be the way we do or we deal with homework from our students is going to be changing, especially because we don't know to what extent these students are using artificial intelligence to do their homework instead of them. You know what I mean? So one thing that we should do is to imagine or to create tasks that perhaps avoid the use of artificial intelligence. One thing that we can do, for example, is tell them to imagine questions for characters that they are reading. Let me show you how we do this.
It's how the limit where they have that kind of app. They have limits where it doesn't have, I guess.
They do have limits. There are things that you cannot ask ChatGPT. Let me show you. Just it will be only a moment.
Yes. Another teacher speak to ChatGPT doesn't make a good reference, and if you put this reference, that doesn't exist.
Right. That's what I'm mentioning. That sometimes they are not real. Well, this is ChatGPT. One limitation that ChatGPT has is that it doesn't really have access to everything. It only have access to information up to 2021, and that's it. So any development after that year, they don't have it. But for example, let's imagine that you're students, that you are a reading and writing teacher, and your students are have just finished reading one of the Harry Potter books. Let's imagine, okay? So you go to ChatGPT, you're a student, not you, you're a student, and you ask them, I need you to answer questions as though you were Harry Potter, all right? I need you to answer questions as though you were Harry Potter. Of course, I'm ready to channel my inner Harry Potter answer your questions as a way. So, okay, so it's going to answer as ChatGPT is not going to answer as ChatGPT, but as Harry Potter. Okay, and I'm going to ask some question. Okay, did you ever feel interested on Hermione? Well, and then there is the answer. Okay, so for example, one thing that you can do is that you tell your students, okay, you're gonna tell the artificial intelligence to be Harry Potter, to be Dumbledore, to be Hermione, whoever, but I want you to prepare the questions here in class. And what they do as homework is that they go and ask the questions, and then they report the answers to you the following class. So that way you avoid these things. Okay. About the limitations that you were mentioning, yes, these services have limits. When they cannot provide for information, sometimes they invent the information. They make it up. It's for real, because they are the primary. Apparently, the primary thing is to satisfy the client, so to speak, satisfy the customer. Sorry. Okay. Is there another question?
Thanks, Daniela, for your asking. Okay, somebody else would like to ask something to Professor Luis?
Hello, Rosa. How are you? Okay. No more questions. No further questions. Let me show you one last thing. Since I think it's interesting. You can have you can have the service of other platforms. This is Bard from Google. Now, what is the nice thing that Bard can do that ChatGPT, cannot do? First of all, Bard does have access to more information than ChatGPT, first of all. Secondly, you can talk to it. I'm going to activate the microphone. Please explain the subjunctive to me. All right, and then? Okay, supposedly it's thinking, but I can tell you the answer is already there. There you go. So I don't know anything about the subjunctive move, and here is the explanation that it provides. Okay, there you go. A very detailed explanation. So the only thing I need to do is read, and that will be it. Excellent. Is it good that the students read the stories? Yes, of course. I'm sorry that I am only giving you examples of reading and writing, both, because that is my main experience. I also have taught grammar and vocabulary, but reading and writing is what I do best. So that's why I give you more examples. Yeah, of course. When they read the stories, one thing that you have to consider you are. Any other question? Okay. Well, I hope that is what it is.
No, I think it was very interesting, the last example you showing the screen, and I think that it can be useful for.
There are other things. There is also Bing, which is, I think, is very complete. Let me see if I can show you that. Let me see if I can show you that. Okay, I have shown you already. Let me share. I'm not sharing. Let me share. This is an image creator, right? But you can also have Bing as a chat. If you can see on your, it would be your right, I suppose. There is Bing chat. So it does not only create images, it can also do what ChatGPT does for you. But and you can create the responses, the tone of the responses. It can be creative, it can be balanced, it can be accurate, more precise. And for example, I asked, you can also, one other thing that Bing does that the others don't do is that you can use images to know about them. For example, I uploaded my image and I asked, who is this guy? As you can see the question, sorry, it's not correctly spelled. And responded that Luis Bermudez is a professor at the World Language Academy. Not true, because Andres hasn't hired me. Let me try that with another image. Just a moment, please. All right, so I'm going to upload a different image, not one of mine. All right, and it is there. Okay, so I want to know about this image. Where is, this is a city, this is a park in a city. Where is it? What is it? Where, I know that it's a park, but where? Where is this park? I just don't know. But I only have this image. I don't have any information. What is this park? And it's analyzing the information that it might have, comparing it with something else, perhaps. There you go. Oh, okay. So according to this, the park is a photo of Millennium Park, which is located in Chicago, Illinois. Probably true. All right. So that you see, the thing about these services is that some of them can do one thing that the other cannot do. They all try to offer something that the others cannot offer. And for example, Bing offers you this service that you can use the image. Okay, you can create images, and also it tells you sources. Let me give you one. With this, I finished. Tell me about qualitative. So, and then it's going to answer, but one thing that is good about this service is that it tells you the sources. So as you can see, for example, here in the process says mass information, more information, we have the sources that it consulted. That ChatGPT doesn't tell you that, or Bard. It tells you, okay, this is from Wikipedia, Scriber, Question Pro. You can go there and look up for more information. Okay, well, I think that there are more things. There is always more things to see and to explore in this fascinating world of artificial intelligence. Thank you very much.
No, my pleasure. It was very interesting, Luis, the last part, and the example you were illustrating us how to use in the proper way. You know, I'm not sure if someone else will ask questions. No, it's okay. So I think that many people are curious, and they will learn to their own. So, Mr. Luis, so what would you tell us about your final conclusions about this?
I do believe that one of the concerns that we have about artificial intelligence is if it will replace us or not, like Bill Gates said. And I would say that in some areas, yes, the possibility is there. But one thing that we don't know is the future. The future is unwritten yet. And on July 29th, 1 year from now, to become the best version of, I mean, the teachers we can be, the best version of ourselves as teachers, and to improve ourselves as much as we can. Again, not only for us. I mean, it's not for us. It's for our students, because they deserve to have the best teachers we can be.
Okay, thanks for sharing with us your last thoughts, Mr. Luis. So, well, in this last part of our webinars, I want to say thank you for everybody for coming, and take the best thing that they can be useful for your learning, dear colleagues and students. No? So, these free webinars we are planning. Passing 1 week. No, so the next week we're going to have our next speaker. I will let you know. I will invite you for the groups. No, hopefully, Mr. Luis, I have a wonderful weekend, and everybody too.
Thank you.
So my last request, please, everybody. Before we finish, we're going to have a final picture. So I would like everybody, please open your cameras, because we're going to have our last picture in this part of the webinar. Thank you so much. Hello, Mr. Carlos. Hello, Raisa. Jasmine, David. Thank you, Erasmo. Thanks for sharing with us.
Hello, everyone.
Isabel, hello, Isabel. A long time ago, I didn't see you. For ages.
Well, thank you very much for this great seminar. And I would like to tell everybody that the future is there and we have to reach it. Artificial intelligence just came to stay and we will have to work on it. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, everybody. Okay, we're going to give a smile. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks for coming, and I invite you to keep doing your own research about this wonderful topic. I'm so curious about it. I will start my own research too. Thank you, Mr. Luis, for coming. I hope this is not the first time. Maybe you can accept more invitations in the future. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming and have a wonderful weekend, okay?